Welcome to day 8. Today we are going to be working on one of the most deceptively simple shapes, a cylinder. So I wanted to start with just some of the head knowledge side of things, and then we will just practice drawing these, and you can just find that combination of what you know in your head and then what you learn through experience, and hopefully that will just help you develop a better understanding of cylinders and how to draw them. So first up, we just want to examine the cylinder in relation to the horizon line, which basically means your eye level. When the cylinder is level with your eye, you won't see the opening at all, as kind of demonstrated as I move this cylinder up and down. The further the cylinder goes from your eye line, the bigger the opening and the more circular that oval opening gets. So keep that in mind as you're drawing your cylinder. And to easily find how wide that opening is without, figuring out your horizon line and everything else, just take and measure the width that you see of the opening. So from the bottom rim of the cylinder to the front rim of the cylinder that you see, and then compare that measurement to the height of the object. So for instance, in this example that I've done here, the width of the mouth of the cylinder is 1/3 of the total height. That's a really quick, easy way to just get in, figure out your initial cylinder opening. And then your bottom one, as it moves away from the eye, is going to be a bit rounder and a bit more circular. And last thing, just try to avoid sharp edges at the where the bottom of your cylinder or the top of your cylinder meets the vertical lines, because remember that this form is wrapping around. So keep that in mind as you draw those, the base and the top of your cylinder. We call it football corners when they come to points like that. So just think of that shape wrapping around and moving through space. Okay, for this drawing, I'm using just a standard number 2 pencil. I'm quickly figuring out that the opening size of the top of my cylinder and then measuring that and going down. I love doing cylinders because of the corresponding sides of light and shadow. So it's a really fun thing to kind of start to play with and observe. And just remember the lip on the cylinder, the thickness. This is a piece of PVC pipe, so it's got that thickness there. And so you're going to want to account for that edge a little bit. Other than that, I'm just kind of looking at my core and cast shadows. And one of the ways there's 2 ways to define edges. And one is, linear edge definition, which is, just your standard line, and you can outline objects. And the other way to define your objects is by putting a value behind them. So instead of trying to draw some of the lines around the cylinder, I've kind of put that value in behind them. All right, it's your turn. Grab your pencil and your paper. I've given you 8 minutes for this because I know it's a little challenging. I want you to be able to take the time to measure and to really get those ellipses established. Ellipses are so hard and they're so intimidating even to me. My husband kind of practically draws those for a living. So he is a master at doing ellipses and perspective drawings. It's amazing. So give yourself lots of grace. Just practice and keep practicing and then step back and kind of look at it and see if it makes sense and if it's reading the way you want it to. But try to just relax your shoulders and your neck and get comfortable and just kind of enjoy trying to see and represent what's in front of you. All right, have fun drawing, and thanks for joining me today. Okay, look for those darkest dark accents, look for the lights. You can use the eraser to pull out any lights that you need to. Great job. Don't worry about getting it perfect, because a lot of times we learn a little better when we leave some of our mistakes and then try again. When we try to correct all of our mistakes, we can sometimes not see a common error that we keep making. Whereas if we leave some of them, then we can see, okay, I have this tendency, and then work on that. So that is really one of the value of getting a lot of quick studies in. All right, so here I am doing these quick studies here. 1 minute is a challenge. In retrospect, I think I would have handled this sideways one with just doing a more solid value inside the circle, and not trying to get as much detail on the edges there. But yeah, just look for the openings. I switched the lighting side up just as a little mental challenge. I'm making it higher or lower so that I get practice doing, measuring those ellipses and seeing how wide they are. So, all right, after this, it is your turn. So 5 1-minute studies. Remember, just slow down to hurry up. Just get those measurements in there. Aim for accuracy, and aim for indicating rather than trying to express everything about this. Try to figure out which marks are most important for making this look like what it is. Over time, as you sketch more and more, you will kind of develop your own visual shorthand, and it's just a way of indicating what's there that is kind of unique to you. So practice this, have fun with this, start trying to figure out your artistic voice when it comes to just quickly expressing things in front of you, and have fun. All right, one side note on these as well. I have them in a cardboard box today because I was getting a lot of light bouncing in from the window, and I really wanted to get a clear set of value patterns for you. So I put it inside a cardboard box and just put my light over that. So that's a trick you can use anytime your environment is filled with a ton of light and you're needing to really practice from a single light source. This can just really help. So great job on these studies. It's challenging and hopefully interesting and fun. And next, I'm going to show you a few of the everyday examples from using and seeing ellipses. Okay, so here are some trees out my window, and you can see that cylinder shape and that beautiful, you can see how the ellipses kind of move through space as the branches go off in different directions. And then here are some hand studies, and if you look at your fingers, you can kind of visualize your knuckles and the joints as ellipses. You could even take your rings and move them up and down on your fingers, put them on different spots to see how those ellipses move through space on your fingers, and just have fun practicing sketching that. And then on this painting, you can see how the ellipses are just indicated with little dark and light accents. And it helps so much when you understand how the ellipses move through space to be able to just do those accents on, something in a painting, or to indicate glass or whatever it is that you're working on. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me.